This friendly fire breather starts at 128,000 Canadian dollars. Options and add-ons make the unit on your screen $143. I'm Justin Pritchard. This is the Mercedes E63S AMG, and that's the price to pay to take the helm of the fastest station wagon on Earth. The Mercedes E63S AMG Wagon is a psycho car for crazy people, but it's also a lovely place to relax and unwind and catch up with friends and family on the move. It's violently fast, but also lovely to drive. It'll do 0 to 60 in an eyeball-peeling 3 seconds flat, dusting Hellcats and Corvettes and Shelbys in the process. And all of that with the novelty factor of doing it in a station wagon. The ultimate slap in the face to slower, high-performance cars. Being smoked by a wagon is embarrassing to many, and there's not a lot on the road that'll keep up with one of these. By the numbers, the E63 should roughly tie the electric-powered Porsche Taycan Turbo for 0 to 60, and I mention that car because it's about the fastest acceleration that I've ever experienced on 4 wheels. And here we have a sensible family wagon capable of the same feat and with a much gnarlier soundtrack. 4-liter twin-turbocharged AMG V8 engine, hand-built by one person. Kaner Yildiz is responsible for this particular power unit. 4-liter V8, twin-turbocharged, 603 horsepower. The heart and soul of some of the fastest Mercedes AMG cars ever made. This hand-built AMG V8 engine includes no shortage of the latest tech to squeeze out maximum power and efficiency, including cylinder deactivation, auto stop, and more. And so from here in the car, when you're just cruising along at 105 or so with the radar cruise set, you're often seeing this little blue light in the instrument cluster that's indicating the engine's operating in 4-cylinder mode. So while it's designed to burn fuel as fast as it can to make all of that power, when you're driving it reasonably, it's actually pretty reasonable on fuel too. This twin-turbo, or bi-turbo engine in AMG speak is a special thing, one of the finest combustion engines out there, and a mechanical masterpiece built to, more or less, give drivers access to everything mankind can do with a gasoline engine. And with electric coming fast, this might be one of the last of its kind. So if you're a fan of the internal combustion engine, this is one of the best there is. It's the heart and soul of a Mercedes supercar, built for extreme use and put to use here in a comfy family hauler that keeps most of its sinister intentions concealed until you decide to provoke them into action. Central command, hard buttons here, on-screen displays for further customization, and even these gorgeous display dials on the steering wheel, for crying out loud. These are some of the tools the E63's designers and engineers have given you to fully customize the experience you want from this car on the fly. And as you can see, it's all animated beautifully to life to give you that satisfying response as you pick a preset, or customize everything from the steering to the exhaust sound from Sunday Drive to time attack at the Nürburgring racetrack. That's where this car grew up, testing and fine-tuning to make sure it delivers the driving experience promised by the AMG badge. Drivers can customize just about everything in the menu, or even on the fly with the dial, and I'm telling you, the fact that this steering wheel has screens on it never gets old. It's probably the fanciest steering wheel I've ever seen, and your constant reminder that you're driving something very special and very potent, that's ready to go full psychopath at the flick of a dial. One click and you're in comfort mode, engine's quiet, revs are low, shocks are softened, and things are relatively laid back. Here, the E63 is no more difficult or intimidating to drive than a mid-size crossover SUV. One click more, Sport mode. One click again, Sport Plus. Things get serious from here. More power, less traction control, harder gear shifts. You can customize your own race mode. It's not for use on public roads, but you can use it on a track, along with a slew of built-in performance apps. It's like a fitness tracker, but for G-forces and lap times. So, incredibly serious hardware and tech like this are how AMG gives station wagon shoppers extreme performance capabilities without ruining everyday drivability. done a lot of miles in a lot of different AMGs over the years in a lot of different settings. And what I find is the common thread between all of those vehicles is the meaty sound, the meaty torque, the very rear-wheel drive feel to the handling, and this very quick and mischievous steering that sort of brings it all together at the tips of your fingers and toes. And although all of that stuff is designed for the racetrack, you don't need much more than just a couple of off-ramps and a little flick over into Sport Plus mode to really feel that sort of mischievous, big power hot rod DNA at the tips of your fingers and toes. Speaking of the tips of your fingers, check out the metal shift paddles for the 9-speed transmission, which Mercedes calls Speed Shift. It's a 9-speed automatic, but instead of a torque converter, there's an automated clutch system that makes for faster off-the-line starts and much faster gear changes, which, in their most aggressive mode, positively hammer upshift after upshift until you release the throttle. But I think it's the downshifts where the magic happens. You know when you crinkle a bag of chips and no matter what's going on in your dog's life, their ears perk up and they start to drool? Well, clicking the left downshift paddle a few times with the E63's exhaust in its loudest setting has a similar effect on drivers. You might need a bib. The gear shifts on this thing and the way the instrumentation just lights up like a pinball machine at full throttle is a rush like few others on 4 wheels. You can see the red line approaching without looking down. The entire cluster turns red. This lets you keep your eyes on the road, a good thing given the rate at which this machine eats the forward scenery. And the soundtrack is incredible. Careful though, more than a moment of full throttle and you're in serious trouble if there's a speed limit in effect. Thankfully, the monster brakes with giant rotors and these hulking calipers get you back down to reality in quick order. They're a bit more vague in traffic than some will like, but they do their best work when you're digging deep into their capabilities, much like the rest of this car. And like a lot of hardware on this car, those extreme performance brakes are an excellent safety feature too. On dark highways at night, the LED lighting system is excellent when it comes to getting plenty of illumination up the way for early warnings of possible hazards. And as long as you're not shy with the brake pedal, these brakes will pull the E63 down fast enough to make you wonder how you didn't go through your seatbelt during emergency stops. It would be a shame to leave a mess all over this beautiful interior, which might be the best thing about the E63, I think. See, even with its racy intentions clearly advertised in the seats and stitching and carbon fiber, the fact remains that this is a gorgeously assembled and very elegant-looking cabin that makes an impression. Your passengers will be wowed when they look in here. You're seeing new and cutting-edge stuff, the latest display graphics and connectivity. Everything is in here and it all looks brilliant. So, day or night, if a relaxing highway drive is the order of the day, you've got a beautiful place to sit, and mostly a comfortable one. That's mostly because of what I found to be my biggest complaint about this car, and that's right down here, to do with these tires and the suspension system attached to them. This is the one area where the E63's performance capability eat into its driving comfort, and it's all dependent on what you're driving on. Even on bumpy or lumpy roads, the E63's high-tech suspension ensures ride comfort and body motion control is consistently good. Among other things, that means the car just floats along smooth highways and does a decent job of lumpy or uneven surfaces, and even handles lighter potholes and sunken manhole covers with less drama than I expected. The problem is that certain road surfaces, specifically the texture of the pavement, can make for some enormous road noise. Thankfully, the E63's got a lot of sound deadening going on, which helps. Still, roll down your window going 40 kilometers an hour on coarsely textured pavement and it nearly sounds like you're driving on a flat. A little binding and scrubbing from the front end and tires may also be apparent at times when you're maneuvering in tight quarters too. That's fair game for a car with performance capabilities like this, and a reminder that you're basically driving a race car disguised as a station wagon. Still, it might be too much for some. However you'll use yours, the E63 AMG Wagon offers up comfortable space for 4 adults, loads of cargo volume behind that, and folding rear seats that nearly turn it into a cargo van. There are good outward sightlines, supportive but racy seats, and in the back, The motorized tailgate opens to reveal a low cargo load-in height, a nicely finished cargo area, and a jump-in height that's much lower than most crossovers, and that's perfect for smaller or aging dogs, and smaller passengers who like to help with the groceries. By the way, thanks to the removable carpet pad, cleaning up pet hair is a cinch. Just bring it inside when you do your vacuuming, and it's as good as new. So a rolling showcase of the latest AMG tech delivered with this classy but sinister look to create a sort of supercar station wagon that's happy to comfortably haul people, cargo, or, well, a whole lot of something else. For Driving.ca, I'm Justin Pritchard. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you never miss a new upload, and we'll see you next time.